Okay, right. Good afternoon, good evening, whenever it is that you're watching. This is the latest in our podcast. I've actually lost count, so I can't be bothered working out what number we're at now. I've filmed that many. Yeah, hello again. Got Wayne with us as always.
All right, everybody. Good afternoon.
That was a delayed response, weren't it? Flipping heck. It was like,
Sorry, mate.
yeah, no worries, wake up. You'll notice down there, we've got Damian Ridpath with us, the Director of Development at Swinton. All right, Damian.
Hi, guys. Hi, everybody.
Yeah. You'll notice as well, Wayne's face. He's got a couple of cuts on his face. I was a little bit worried that he'd fallen off the wagon and then fallen off a ramp. But I remembered there's no pubs that are open. So he must have, and I asked him how he did it, and I'm not like, he said he's not really very sure. So
I've had a slight shaving incident, but we don't need to start every episode with something that I've done wrong. So let's move on.
Oh, that reminds me. So thank you for all the responses about the sign, the Station Roaders sign. You'll notice that Wayne's actually unglued it all and managed to stick it back so it makes sense. So that's fantastic. Well done, mate. I'm proud of you.
I got to set the designer straight onto it. She got her own self-tape and fixed the issue.
Amazing.
So we're all good to go.
That's great. That well done. Congratulations. Right, go on. I'll let you start with Damian, then Wayne.
Like I say, obviously we've got Damian Ridpath on today, and due to everything that's gone on, obviously he's been at the club a while, but we've not actually had a chance to meet him at the ground or at any game. So we thought we'd get him on. So Damian, do you want to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, guys. Name's Damian Ridpath. I'm the Director of Development at Swinton. I've been around the club since last January. I know it was a bit quiet at first, quite a little appointments. Came involved with the club literally on a meeting with Steve Wilde, who invited me to present my ideas and what I'm about to the board, who then basically said, would you like to become our Director of Development? And I didn't. It took me all of about a second to think about that, and it was a definite yes. I come from a multi-sport background, mainly boxing, Olympic boxing, been all over the world with that sport. I'm a level 4 international registered 3-star coach through boxing, but I've always had a massive love for rugby league. I've grown up in Warrington. Wilderspool was a bit of a haunt for me as a kid. Absolutely love everything to do with rugby league. In fact, my first ever memory of rugby league was 1981, and it was Warrington versus Whitehaven in a slalom lager championship match, and I was enthralled as my dad put me in at the front of the stand at a barrier, and I watched two fellas kicking the proverbial out of each other on the floor at a scrum. And I said to my dad, what are they doing? He says they're trying to hook the ball, but they were just basically kicking each other. And then there was a big all-in 13-a-side brawl, and I said, that's it, I'm in. I love this, and I love the confrontational side of the sport. I've been hooked ever since. Absolutely, undoubtedly, just cut me through rugby league. In terms of being engaged in Swinton, I genuinely couldn't be prouder. There's been loads of connections to my own family through Swinton over the years, and that in itself, I've always had a soft spot for Swinton. And when I first met Steve, because as you know, Steve's a massive historian, he was shocked at how much I knew about Swinton as a club and all the comings and goings and stuff like that. And it just seems to be a massive fit, an easy fit. Like I say, I've been around a year, and I feel like I've been here all my life. Being involved with the club on a day-to-day has been just amazing. Meeting all you guys, meeting all the fans that I've met on the few games that we played last year, even though I don't think people knew who I was just hanging about. I think it gave it away and was in a suit and a shirt and tie and a big Crombie jacket at Batley. And I can't remember the name of the lady, but she came to the bar and said to me, "You've got lovely teeth, Damian." And I thought, that's a bit of a surprise. She didn't ask me what I did. She just said, "You've got lovely teeth." And I couldn't stop laughing. I thought, what a family connection that is. I just thought it was it's a home away from home for so many people. Yeah. And the club is special. And I mean, I'm not just saying that because I've got involved with the club and I've come on this call. It genuinely is. And coming from outside the area I think you guys, all you Swinton fans, you probably take that for granted a little bit. coming from the outside in, and the way I've been welcomed, and the way I see Swinton fans operate, it's just great. It's just fantastic.
Brilliant. I think the funny thing that you mentioned then was like the confrontational aspects of rugby league. Now, growing up, my favourite film was Slapshot, the ice hockey film. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's about this down and out American ice hockey team, and they get beat every single week. They get beat, so they draft in a load of nutcases and basically just dust it up every week. And I think that was for me, like that being my sort of favourite film growing up as a kid. And then watching a game of rugby league, it was the same sort of thing. It was like that. I was like, wow, it's not an abstract concept that I'm seeing on the telly. It's guys doing it in front of me. And I think that was the sort of and it gets you hooked straight away.
Oh, I mean, I genuinely believe, I think rugby league is the best kept secret. I mean, one of the sayings, and I shared this with Martin Sadler at RL Express, and he agreed with the expression, and he says that rugby league is like a diamond wrapped up in a brown paper bag. We're so good, but we refuse to tell anybody how good we are.
Yeah.
And I think, I'd say I was hooked from a young age. I played a little bit. I wasn't great, but I loved it. I loved it. And I think in general, I think the sport in itself, it builds so much. It builds resilience, resistance. It builds comradeship. You're still friends 20, 30 years later with the lads you played with. You'll see them in town. And that goes right across the sport, from community level right the way up. It creates men of the future, and women and people of the future. You learn so much through rugby league that you can take to every other aspect of life.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot, and particularly communication skills are really important in rugby league. And I think that's one thing that helped me developing growing up, was that talking to all the players on the pitch and stuff like that, and the socializing after the game. And it's just an absolutely an amazing sport.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That is the key with rugby league. Like you say, when you was younger, like when I was younger, probably with Barney, them memories you get of actually meeting and speaking to the actual players who you watch, that's just fantastic. And young kids now, certainly clubs like Swinton, you can still have that. You can still see the player in the bar and everything. And they're the memories that make you go for 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember as a kid, and because I was doing boxing at the same time, I was competing in a boxing match, and John Bevan was giving out the trophies, the old Warrington centre, Welsh winger, Welsh centre. And I couldn't be bothered about my bout. I actually won that night, but it was, I'm going to meet John Bevan. And I'm getting my big trophy. And my dad took a photograph of it, and I've still got that photograph to this day. And it still makes me smile thinking about how I felt. I mean, that was a guy, he was a school teacher in his day, played for Warrington at the weekends. Absolutely an amazing ambassador for the sport at all time for kids. And that's something rugby league got. All those players, all our Swinton players, they've got time for everybody. Premiership football and other sports now, they become almost untouchable.
Yeah.
Our players in this sport, and I can include Super League players in that as well, they are the most approachable. Boxers and rugby league players are the most approachable sportsmen that you will get in life, because essentially they come from the same streets as the people who are watching them.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it has a lot of value. And I think the amount, I mean, let's be honest, I mean, the amount of money the guys are getting paid, then it's not life defining, is it?
No.
Yeah, what they put in on a Sunday and all 3 times a week training, and then playing on a Sunday, traveling up and down the country, doing what they do, putting themselves on the line every week, it's just huge. And it should be hugely rewarding for us as a fan base watching that, because I just think of these lads putting it in, and you think, fair play to you. You give everything. And I think our current squad, and I think the guys who played last year and the ones who've come in, you've got 100% commitment. In fact, I'll say this, they bleed blue. I've been watching them in training and watching the commitment they're putting in now. That team is going to bleed blue for you guys and us next year. I can see it coming, or next season, I should say.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things that when we interviewed Rod and Luke, because we've not released that yet, But by the time this comes out, we'll have released it a couple before, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And the thing that they spoke about more than anything else was the fact that the camaraderie that the team have and the group of players that they've got, and that they're all singing from the same hymn sheet. They're all, any training that's set, they're all smashing the training to bits, the stuff that they're doing at home, and then they bring in that fitness level in onto the training pitch so they can get on with the skill drills and match run through straight away, and they've not got to worry about the conditioning because that's done elsewhere. And I noticed as well, one of the lads, one of the new lads that we've got, I've forgotten his name now, he's doing a blog at the moment on YouTube, and he's going through the training that he's doing, and he was basically saying that, so you can see the team spirit that's there. And I think you flip that as well. You look at the likes of Rod and Luke, they're in teaching roles, they work in education. Now, I know, I'm a teacher myself, I know that there's no way in the world that I can do my job and train to the extent that they're doing, the amount of time that they're doing, and playing on a Sunday, training on a Saturday, training in a week. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't have the time to do anything else. And to see them doing that, they obviously want it. And that is, for me, that's the amazing part about it.
Absolutely. They are a unique bunch, rugby league players in general, but these guys that we've got at Swinton now, there's a whole family feel.
Yeah.
And we have the 5 pillars: humbleness, adaptability, family, honesty, all that. But it doesn't just start on the pitch. It starts in the boardroom, and it starts with us and what I call the front office. So me, Steve, Stu Fletcher, the rest of the board, we're the front office of this club.
Yeah.
And if we don't lead by example, why would we expect anybody else to lead by that example? And everything that those players do in terms of integrity and all that, that's right through the club. So that's right from Steve Wild as the CEO, who's got to be the hardest working man in rugby league. And I mean that because I don't think people realise the amount of hours he puts in. I mean, 35 hours or 37 hours would be a luxury. It's double that, all the stuff behind the scenes that he does. All the way through that, what we're all doing, the staff, the coaching staff, Stu Littler, right the way through to Lindsay, the physios, right the way through to the assistant coaches, the strength and conditioning, to the team, to the kit man on a Sunday, to the lads who are doing the media stuff, Colin James and Harry and Sam on a Sunday. Right the way through, there's that continual family commitment ethos through the club. And like I say, it starts at the front office. And I always say, I think it was Jack Gibson, who's coaching guru years ago in Australia, who said that if your front office is right, everything else will follows. So all I can say is, since this present administration come into place from September 2019 to now, the administration of this club is tip top. I mean, we were actually on an RFL meeting the other week, and they commended us, and they said, Swinton, I've got it right. You're doing everything right, what you should be doing. And in terms of our governance and everything, we're well in front. We're right. And that's now following, because the quality of player that we've been able to sign, it's no doubt that our 2021 team is stronger than our 2020 team, which was a little bit stronger than the 2019 team. So each year we're building and we've built better recruitment, better players, and more importantly, we've retained a core of players that want to play for Swinton. I think Rodri's on his 8th season now. And I don't know, you go back a few years ago, that I think it was, people have told me that you didn't know what Swinton team was turning up from one year to the next.
I think that has been a vital thing, and as a fan, going back a few years, that was the thing. Every year, you was turning over, 5 to 10 players every time that are going out. And you can't build on that, can you?
No.
You can't, because every year you've got them coming in, and they don't know the structures and what the coach wants, etc. So every year you're back at sort of starting point each time, aren't you? Where, like you said, for the last 2 or 3 years, that's not been the case. We've had a solid, basis of a squad, and just really adding to that, which is, from a fan's point of view, is fantastic.
Yeah, and absolutely. And also the developing talents. So young Jack started at 18, 19. He's 23, 24 now, and he's really starting to move. He's learned on the job, and he's doing a really great job. And the thing is, the players who've gone on, like your Matty Ashtons, Chris Hankinson, whoever else, we're sending players up to that higher level as well. who are well trained, well thought of, and are fitting straight into Super League squads. Chris Atkins, another one, fitting straight into Super League squads. So the quality of provision at our club and the coaching, and I'll say this, I've watched Stu Littler in action. Obviously, he's an international coach with the stuff that he does at Rugby League Ireland. It's really high quality. And off field this year, we've obviously added to that because we've got all the GPS systems put in place. Our training den in what we've got, and obviously we train at the AJ Bell. We've now got a new gym at the AJ Bell, which is solely for Swinton Lions, which is not shared by anybody else, solely for Swinton Lions. Moving forward, our training facilities are just not that far off Super League standard. Well, in fact, they are Super League standard, and there's no two ways about it. They literally are. We've got all the GPS systems in place. So in terms of tracking, in terms of strategic analysis of what players are doing and what they're not doing, it's all in place. So there's very few championship clubs can say they've got that. We prepare like we are a Super League team right across the board. And that goes to me and Steve and Stu and everybody in on the board. We actually operate, we think, the best we can possibly think at all times to help move this club forward. Brilliant. So in terms of our Lions brand, that's where we're pushing now. That's where we're going. We're going to make the Lions brand the team of choice for people in and around Greater Manchester. Swinton Lions. This is what we're at. We are hoping and we want to become, and in our strategic vision in 5 years, we want to become one of the leading teams in the Championship. Now, we've not made no stupid brag and gone, we're going to be Super League in 2 years. No, we're going to build slowly but surely but steadily. And each year we're going to add on, and hopefully we'll increase our fan base, and we'll increase our fan base with a number of initiatives that we've now got ready to roll in terms of development. The foundation's up and running again. I'm leading that. We've got loads and loads of projects about to kick off in the year, which will engage young people, engage the whole community in different initiatives moving forward, which will help us grow our fan base, and more people that come part of our family. We're going to be the biggest family in Greater Manchester because they're going to love getting down to Haywood Road. They're going to love match day. They're going to love all the engagements that we get alongside that. And we'll just hopefully grow slowly but surely. So in 4 or 5 years' time, we can look and say, now, can we have some full-time players? Can we look at that leap, because let's not kid ourselves, that leap to Super League is huge. It's a huge chasm.
It's massive.
Now, on another discussion point, and I don't know what you think about this, I actually think the most exciting competition in Rugby League presently is the Championship. I think you've got promotion.
Sorry, I think we've said it on one of the other podcasts. I genuinely believe the Championship as a product, clearly Super League has its advantages, etc. But as a product for a family, approachable sport with a very high caliber of skill on show, competitive games, I don't think you can beat it. I really don't.
No,
you know what I mean?
You've got jeopardy. You've got 2 teams going down. You've got 1 team going up. So you've got 3 out of 14 teams moving on each season. Now, I don't know what the percentage of that is. It's someone who's better at maths than me can tell me. It's about 30% movement or something out the competition, 20-odd% movement. That's massive for a sport. Look at what we've got. We've got London. We've got Toulouse. We've got Sheffield. We've got Bradford. We've got Swinton, Stoke in the Greater Manchester area. You've got Widnes, big clubs. Big clubs who've, whatever reason come out. You've got York. There's 7 or 8 cities there. Yeah. And then you've got your good hardcore traditional Dewsbury, Batley, whoever else in the car. Newcastle Thunder coming in. So you mean there's Super League would love the footprint that the Championship has got this year. I've not even mentioned Toulouse without international flavour. Super League would love that footprint. They really would. And yet the Championship has got everything. It's got all these aspects going for it and a real fantastic quality offer of rugby and match day.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing for me, you look at Super League, you've probably got, it's probably similar to Championship, and you've probably got your 4 or 5 teams that are going to be up there at the top. And then, but the issue that I've got with Super League, then you've literally got the rest. Whereas in our division, you've got probably 4 or 5 that can win it. Then you've probably got a middle group, and then you've possibly got a lower group. But the lower group on their day can beat anybody. Literally can beat anybody. And it's one of the most exciting leagues you'll watch. Plus, and then you look at the brand of rugby. They don't throw it around in Super League like we throw it around in our league.
No,
it's like, it's do you know what I mean? And I think when we spoke to Rod and Luke last time, like Luke was saying that the standard is similar. The only thing that differs from Super League to Championship is the speed. He says the skills are there. He said you're coming up against hardened professionals, and as a young kid, you go into the Championship and you're like, wow, what's this all about? Because you're getting smashed about off men, and that's something that sort of the younger, that you under 21s and things like that can't give you. So it is fantastic. And just while I'm on, I remember it was Jay Smiley that's doing like a training vlog. So if you see that, give it a watch. I'll tweet it out as well later on. So yeah, so you've mentioned sort of the vision of the club, Damian. So what is it that you do within the club? What's your role, so to speak?
Right. Well, at the moment, obviously I'm looking after everything. Well, not everything, but sticking myself right big head there. There's my halo. No, looking after all the off-field stuff, other than the administration and governance stuff. That's all what Steve does. So for me, it's all about the development. So sort of things that we'll be looking at, or I'll be doing is one, our foundation is getting it up. We've actually expanded it. We've got external funding coming in to support programs, so which will get more kids doing a little bit of rugby. And one of the things we've done is our Jose Kenga project. Now, we've been able to get quite a bit of money with that. And the reason for that is it's a unique offer. Our offer is about diversity and inclusion, using Rugby League as the conduit to make that happen. Now, obviously, on the back of, I won't go into it too much, but on the back of what happened to Jose in Toronto a couple of years ago, and there was a big media presence on that, it's really important that everybody understands what diversity and inclusion is.
Yeah.
So what we'll be doing, we'll be going around, and we can't do it because of COVID at the moment. So we've tried to start 4 times, and each time we've had a start date, pull back. So hopefully we're looking after Easter now, probably. We'll be running an inclusive workshops where we'll be discussing about people's different environments, where people come from, what makes people different, what makes people tick, all that sort of stuff, with a rugby league flavour. So it's a workshop. So it's an hour-long workshop where people can come in and talk about, and we showcase black players, and in terms of Ellery Hanley, various Roy Francis being a black coach, all this sort of thing, and showcase how inclusive rugby league has been forever. In fact, the only basis about rugby league being, are you tough enough, are you fast enough, can you tackle, you're in. It's never been the colour of your skin or your background has never even been thought of in general, never even been thought of. So it's about using rugby league in a positive way via Swinton Lions to go around a variety of areas in Greater Manchester, showcasing the sport. And on the back of that, all the kids get to play 6 weeks of rugby league with Swinton Lions community coaches, who's led by Gary Woodward at Folly Lane. So it's giving that community link with Folly, who are going to help deliver that project, but with our Lions branding all over it, and saying this is what we're about as a totally inclusive club, which we are from the top to the bottom. Some of the other things I'm looking at, obviously, is our match day experience. So I'm not going to give too much away on there, because you'll see it when you come, when we get to a stadium, you will see it. And there's little subtle changes to start with, but one of the things we're going to be doing is a number of theme days. So I'll give one theme day away. I'm only giving you one, but we're going to do a retro day. So right. I want to see as many old shirts as I possibly can. So if you've got one older than this, right? I want to see older shirts than that. We're going to do a retro day. At the end of it, in the bar, there's going to be like a 70s, 80s, and 90s disco and all that all the way through. So it's not just about game day, it's about match day. It's about coming in, having a great time, and staying after the game and having fun. and stuff like that. But there's a number of, we've actually got 8 or 9 themes, but I'm not giving them all away. You'll see them as we release them going through the season.
Nice.
And
I mean,
again, it's about getting the wider community involved with Swinton, getting down to our match day, involving themselves and knowing what it's about. So there's something that will tweak interest for loads of different people.
Brilliant.
Again, Damian, that sort of stuff is what we need to sell. And you need to sell the day out, don't you?
Yeah.
You can bring the kids, all that, like you can day out, dress up a little bit. I mean, we've seen some of Barney's shoots and that. He'd love a fancy dress party. But generally, other people do it as a one-off. And like I say, you can bring the kids, a party after, the players are in there. That's golden. You know what I mean? That is like what you need to do nowadays. People don't want to pay just to come and go home, do they? You want to pay your money and have like almost like a day out on it with a game of rugby in the middle.
I mean, I think it's, for example, the pricing structure we have at the club or with Rugby League in general, there's a bigger sport that exists in Manchester that will remain nameless on this call, but it's 2.5 times the cost for a similar amount of time than what we're offering. So value for money and making people understand what value for money is. Swinton is value for money. Swinton are value for money. The products on the field, what's going to be happening off the field, where we're going, what we're doing, the total day engagement, it's going to be fun. And that's only going to grow That's only going to grow. We're going to really, really push that out as we're moving forward. You know, we'll dip our toes in it first and then we'll see where we go. And, you know, I'm not promising it's going to be perfect. I'm not going to promise it's going to be the best things in sliced bread every week, but it might be. We're going to have a crack. We're going to have a go, you know, and that's all you can ask. And it goes right back to what I was saying before about when we're moving forward as a club, we're moving forward together as one. So that involves all the fans, all the staff, all the players, all the board. Everybody's going to move. We're going to move forward together as one. And if we, you know, and that's where we'll get success.
Yeah. I mean,
that's where we will get success.
Absolutely
massively.
I mean, you briefly touched on it then, but we have got a number of sort of community teams that we've partnered up with. You mentioned Folly there. And then we've got, we spoke about it before. I didn't remember this. I don't look that good. Devon Sharks, Belfast Eagles, and Dublin Longhorns. So, I don't know if you can answer this or what, but it's a question that sort of me personally am sort of very interested in. But obviously, when COVID does one and all that, are we going to be looking at sort of playing a few sort of pre-season friendlies over in Dublin and Belfast? Because I can see that going down exceptionally well with the Swinton fans. Not so well with my missus, but massively well with Swinton fans.
To be decided. Watch this space. I think the reality, our commitment to those community clubs is massive, and I think part of it is actually I've actually assisted them with governance and support to make their clubs stronger in their areas as well, and they're absolutely delighted. I don't want to be seen just before Christmas. Belfast have put the Swint Lions badge all over their branding, all over their kits and everything, and I think closer to home would be going. I know Folly have already made a link with Belfast to do exchanges with the kids. There's I mean, I can't give too much away at the moment, but closer to home, there actually is a new community league starting up around Greater Manchester.
Right.
And we're going to be, and Swinton Lions are going to be front and centre of that.
Cool.
And we've done a little link that will mean that there'll be junior teams with the names Lions on the back of it moving forward. So I won't say anything more than that. That'll come out springtime, where we'll be looking. It's called Greater Manchester Player Development League, and I'm at the front of the centre of all the negotiations and talking with the Rugby League about developing offers for kids, especially in World Cup year. But that's going to be based around mainly where we play our match days in Trafford,
right?
Because in reality, that's where we play our match days. That's where we can recruit new fans. So ultimately, and out of respect as well, I wouldn't set up anything community in the town of Swinton simply because Folly are so good. Why would you want to go in opposition to that? We work in tandem with Folly now, and I think in years gone by, there's been there was certainly a disconnect with Folly a tiny one, you know.
Yeah.
There was a disconnect, and now we've connected that, and so much so that our Lionesses, our female team, that did our first online meeting yesterday, because again, COVID's put back all training. We did our first online meeting. I think we had 29 people on that call yesterday.
Wow.
Who were going to start off with the Lionesses.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I know
So-
my daughter plays. She's under 16s at the moment, but she's been on at me saying like, Dad, I'm thinking, because she's actually on the Wigan girls pathway at the moment as well, and she's like, I fancy having to do it at Swinton as well, you know, seeing which I prefer and taking it from there. You think I bleed blue blood? That woman is like literally Lee Miners, like you've never known.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. The thing is, the option is there for anybody who wants to come. It doesn't matter whether you're brand new to rugby league. We've had a fair interest from players who are rugby union players. It doesn't matter. Just come down. There is something for you there. For any girls who are watching this and they're really interested in rugby league, just come, because we've got Martina Greenwood coaching. She's an international player herself. She's done fantastic with Halifax. She actually is resident in Swinton.
Yeah.
Her kids play for Folly. She's absolutely amazing as a coach. We've got a fella called Steve Thurkel, who I think was with Lee East. He's now come on board with Swinton, who's going to be doing the juniors. So we're not just going with a women's team. We've got a junior section attached to an adult section as well. So we're going to build sustainability. And we're not, again, with the women's team, we said to all the girls yesterday, ideally, at some point, yes, we may well get to Women's Super League, but we're in no rush. We're not going to say we're going to do it next year. Let's do it stage by stage by stage and build the organisation. And if you build it like anything, it's like a house, in it. If you don't lay the foundation, the house gets fallen down. I mean, I'll go back to, changing track a little bit. And I mentioned this to you last week, Wayne. It's like in rugby league, there's been something like 90-something clubs that have tried to play rugby league at professional level, and there's at the moment 36, I think.
Yeah.
So that would say that 2/3 of people who come into professional rugby league don't stay. Now, when you break that down a little bit further, actually, the number of clubs that don't make 6 or 7 years is about 90% of those 60 odd teams. The only ones who went past that were like Carlisle, Bramley, Highfield, whoever, who didn't quite make, were there a long time but didn't quite make it.
Thank you, sure.
Now, none of them played outside their traditional heritage borough and survived. We have.
Yeah.
No, we are special. This club is special. And it doesn't matter where we play, we are special. And that's why I think we're going to grow now, because where before I think previous administrations had seen barriers, we're outside Swinton, we need to get back to Swinton. Now, don't get me wrong, if we can ever get a facility or a ground and everything like that back in Swinton, amazing. But it's not the be all and end all. Where we're at now, everybody loves Haywood Road. All the fans love who come there. It's a great match day experience. 1,500 to 2,000 on there. You think you're at Wembley, don't you? It's absolutely rocking. The roof's coming off. That in itself is a fantastic experience.
Yeah.
So at the moment, where we're at, where we know we're going to be there for another few years yet, and I think we're starting to build a platform in that area of Greater Manchester or the City of Manchester, and I think it's really important. But our Swinton Lions brand, it's historical. It's brilliant. You go to Australia and you say, "Have you heard of Swinton Lions?" People go, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Go to the side of the world and people know what Swinton Lions is.
Well,
right?
I met an Aussie couple on a cruise in Vietnam, and the bloke Grant, he played down in Australia, and he knew who we were. So I had my Swinton top on. He's like, "Oh no, we've not seen a top like that for years." So and it's like, and we've still got that. It's fun. The thing that's funny is that people from sort of 2 or 3 years ago, people from Swinton would go, "Oh, I didn't know Swinton was still playing." Yet people in Australia knew we were. And
crazy.
But now it's been quite a while since anybody said to me, "Oh, I didn't know Swinton still had a team," because people are seeing it with a bit more in your face, almost a bit more current. And that from us, like as a fan, that is the thing that sort of I want to see more than anything else.
I mean, one of the things we set about last January, February time was to increase our online presence and to improve the quality of that coming out of the website, coming out of the Facebook pages, Twitter pages, and stuff like that. And I think we've done that, and we've actually raised our membership on those by over 25% in 12 months. So that's huge. That's a massive growth. 2%. I think we targeted 5%. We've had a 25% growth of our online followers. Now, the numbers are relative. I mean, it's 10, 20,000. I'm not sure what the numbers are, but it's grown by 25%. And that's all we can do is grow year on year, day after day. And one of the things me and Steve say in the office, and we talk about it every day, say at the end of the week, we go, how far have we moved this week? And we look at where we were at the start of the week. We go, well, actually, we've moved this far along the page. And that's what we do every week. So I just looked at my notes just before coming on here, and I looked at January, and I looked at January 2020, and I looked at January 2021, and I'm like, oh my God, if I rolled this out, it's like the Doomsday Scroll. It's just rolling on how much has been achieved. And if you showed that to someone else outside, they probably wouldn't believe we'd achieved it. They'd probably say, you're a monkey. Nah, don't believe you. You wouldn't believe what's been achieved in what is relatively short space of time.
Yeah.
And I think, and the fact we weren't playing, and we've been in the biggest pandemic the world's ever seen, and we've managed to launch a new side with the women. We've got all these community projects kicking off. We've been engaged and now got massive relationships with Trafford Council, Salford Council, Salford CVS, national charities like Sported and Street Games know who Swinton are and are working with us on a daily basis to improve what we do as a club, but also to improve our platform, show where we are. So engaging with people who wouldn't normally have known what Swinton was. In the summer, we did a summer project in Stretford. Had over 100 kids playing rugby league who'd never touched a rugby league ball in their life, and saying to me, when can we do more? And I must admit, Gary Woodward from Folly Lane was absolutely amazing. And Martina come on then, and Martina did some sessions as well, and they were outstanding quality deliveries.
Brilliant.
So it wasn't just about getting kids running about, it was actually quality what they were doing as well. So all in the name of Swinton Lions.
Brilliant. Right, we've got 1 minute left on the call, right, before our free Zoom thing runs out, and I'm still too tight to buy it. Right. So what we'll do is we'll do a part 2, because I think we've still got more in this. So what we'll do is I'll end this call now. The video will do the thing, and I'll give you a ring back in about 2 minutes, and we'll do a part 2 on this. Damian,
let's go for it.
Part 2 coming up. Right. So I'll get this sorted out, and I'll ring you back in 5 minutes.
No worries, Paul.
To the end.
Right. See you in a minute. I'm just going to get this.